All right, Patrick and Declan were both in St. Paul for Byron Buxton, Alex Scuff. We'll get to that. But, Pat, I tend to side with the people chirping you on Twitter. Rocco needs to do a better job managing Duran and telling him not to throw meatballs and wacky pitches.
I want to know if the dugout or the catcher is calling the breaking ball after the Naylor guy is like 5 minutes late on both fastballs. I got a good idea. Let's throw the splinky slider 12 feet outside the plate and let it go to the wall. Yeah. What kind of morons are these guys? If the guy's late twice, do the same thing. What the hell are they doing? God almighty, they want to fool them all the time. They want to fool them. Sometimes you don't have to fool them. And Dick and the boys, I wasn't there, of course. Dick and the boys, very upset. They thought it should have been called strike 3 because the guy kind of hacked as he was falling to the ground. So I don't know if that was a swing or not. I don't think it worked. I don't think it qualifies as a swing. So anyhow, that was a bad loss. Oof. And, but hey, guys, 2 runs, 4 hits. The hell with them. I'm glad you got beat. The hell with you.
You know what, though? We just got done recording a scoop session with Doogie. And Doogie, so we weren't sure because, the Angels just put like a quarter of their roster on waivers. Yes. And the Twins are in a position if they want to. And so we were wondering, at what point does the order of the records lock in? And Doogie said, as it was told to him, so we're going to find out like at noon today where those players got claimed. But but it was after yesterday's game's records is where the waivers lock in. This might have been a chess move by the Twins yesterday, Pat, to intentionally tank for waiver claiming position.
What scares me, however, if you're trying to get one of those players, is the Yankees will claim about 4 of them. The Yankees are below you. They still aren't going to give up. They're 65 and 68. They won 3 in a row. The one guy you'd really like, Matt Moore, is not going to be available. Somebody's going to take him. And I'd take Ronaldo Lopez, too. I'd take the other reliever. Those are the 2 guys I'd want.
Would you take one of the righty power bats or no?
Yeah, I probably Hunter Renfroe might be fun, to have him here for a while. What the hell? I guess I'd claim him. I bet they claimed him. I don't think Giolito, but because he's been really bad. But I think I'd put in claims on all of them if I were them and see who you end up with. But Renfroe, yes, I'd take him. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know how I'd play him, but I'd find room for that right-handed bat for sure.
And I think that there's a possibility, Pat, that if you do that, despite the fact that this guy hits from the left side, that hopefully might be the end for Joey Gallo.
Well, I think it's the end, isn't it? If Buxton comes back and Kirilloff comes back, it's got to be the end.
They did pinch hit for him yesterday with Luplow when Cleveland hadn't made a pitching change.
Well, they got to add one. They're going to add one position player, so and they're. Who else are they getting back? They're getting Castro back. So it's got to be Gallo, Luplow, and then you got an extra spot to put on. You got 4. You can have 14 positions. He already told us it's going to be 14 and 14. It's not 15 and 13. So I would say Luplow and Gallo are the 2 guys in trouble. But if you get a Renfroe, I don't know. Get him. He can beat Don Baylor, right? You got Don Baylor and way back when just to hit 1 home run to win a game, which helped.
6.
So, yeah, that's that. But yeah, I guess. But I'd claim damn near all of them. I think. I doubt if you're going to get them though. I really think the Yankees will.
Really? So you think the Yankees would, because they're all free agents. So that you think the Yankees would just to go double middle fingers to the rest of the league would just swallow some guys up?
No, I think they feel like they could still, they're a long shot, but they're not going to say we can't. They're 65 and 68. They've won 3 in a row. They're probably feeling like, it's not over yet.
Yeah, so, they did, but I think they did just call up their 2 best prospects. This morning it was reported that whoever their 2 top prospects are, so they maybe they're into. I could see just from an ego standpoint, I could see you being right on this, but I guess we'll find out.
What do you think is how are they going to close this loophole, baseball? they're gonna, because this surprised the hell out of them. They didn't see this coming. They want the trade deadline to mean something, right?
Yeah.
Well, if there's a possibility that you're going to have players like this available 3 weeks later for nothing, you're going to stop giving up prospects for players on August 2nd, right?
I'll tell you guys about 20 years ago. So fantasy baseball had this problem for a long time, Pat. And now what fantasy baseball and football have done is there's certain caliber of players. If you just get mad at the league or something, I quit, I'm going to drop my players, or I'm going to drop a player and tell Judd, hey, I'm going to drop this player. You pick him up and we'll collude and split the money.
Right.
So I once won a fantasy baseball league because this is like in college. Because someone got mad and drunk and gave up on the league and dropped like peak Vladimir Guerrero, and I happened to see it come across. I'm like, I mean, he's available on the waiver wire,
right.
So maybe we need to set a rule where, like, okay, if a guy has 20 home runs or something or whatever it is, you can't just drop Hunter Renfroe and have someone pick him up.
I would guess that after the trading deadline, anyone claimed that waivers will not be eligible for the postseason. Something like that. They're going to do something, because you got to know Manfred and the commissioner's office every time these guys outsmart them, they get very upset. So they're going to come up with something. But this is everybody was ridiculing the Angels for being idiots. But now other teams are trying to do the same thing to get rid of these people and save some money, because they're going to be free agents that walk anyway. So it's going to be the new deal, and it will really lessen the trading deadline, I think. All those guys you added, if you were a contender that you gave up a bunch of prospects for, wouldn't have you waited if you knew this was a possibility?
I love that the Angels went from like
guys
30 days ago, we're going to make one last run with Shohei Ohtani, and then fart noise the last 30
Artie
days. He tears his elbow.
Marino went nuts that his GM was trying to trade Ohtani, and said, no, we're going all in. We're going to trade a bunch of our prospects. For what purpose? He's leaving anyway. And now we need a new stadium. And by the way, we are now promising you to be a rotten team for about 4 years in the biggest market in America. So
they deserve it.
Anyway,
they deserve 10 years they deserve to be contracted. That's the most.
Yes.
Think about having Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani for 6 years together. Trout for a decade.
Yes.
And you can't get to a wild card game. Like, it's embarrassing.
Didn't they play one? They played one playoff game, didn't they?
Trout, I think, has played three playoff games.
Yeah, he's played the playoffs before, but not
Trout
much.
Trout and some of the Twins from the wild card year, they played one game each year. Eddie played one playoff game for us, right? Eddie played one playoff game for us. So I went to we were in St. Paul Declan and I, and we didn't get to see much of Buxton out in center field, did we?
No.
We saw one fly ball and then one ball off the wall. I thought he was a little tentative going to the wall on that ball, and I was glad he was.
Good.
Because he wouldn't have caught it anyway. He wouldn't have caught it anyway. But his posture looked terrific out there in center field. I mean, he didn't
Straight
move
back.
around,
On deck
but
circle, he was just.
his posture looked good. Kirilloff looked lousy. Doesn't look like he's ready to hit yet, but he's going to play again tonight. Apparently, Buxton's going to play again Friday. But we didn't see much evidence, and I thought the crowd reaction was rather tepid, didn't you, Declan?
For Buck?
Not for Buxton. I mean, there was a decent cheer, but none at all for Kirilloff. I would say half the crowd didn't know he plays for the Twins. That's that crowd is.
I feel like half the Twins fans don't know that Kirilloff plays for the Twins.
Right.
Outside, I think his wife or family members were right behind me, Pat, because every time Kirilloff came up, the cowbell would ring. Like someone had a cowbell next to me, and it was just for Kirilloff. I noticed it every at bat. That cowbell would only ring for Kirilloff.
Okay. Well, he got one base hit to right field. He grounded out twice and struck out twice. So
not a great showing. The pitcher looked okay. The guy that called up. Yes.
The new catcher. He had a good slide ball. He had a good slider. He's got a live arm. But anyway, meanwhile, big Reds in town, and I wonder how many Nebraska people will fight their way into the gold out tonight. What do you think?
I don't know.
What are you kidding? PJ Fleck said the whole place is sold out because of PJ Fleck. Pat, it's going to be nothing but Gopher fans.
Yeah,
Come on.
I was surprised. It was the first sellout here in like 3 years or something, right? 3-4 years. So
yeah, yes.
So all right, a noted former Husker, Jeremiah Searles, texted me yesterday, and because we got a little a beer and a steak bet on this game, and he said 15,000 minimum Big Red fans. It's the closest game for them to travel to. So
I doubt it. I doubt it'll be that big. But I bet 8 to 10, probably 8 to 10. And that Red's going to look kind of strange among all that gold. Yeah, if you're going to have a gold out game, don't do it for Nebraska. Don't do it for Eastern Michigan. When they're going to have like 4 people there in the green shirts.
But the problem then is
you don't the
stadium won't be full, and so it's just very apparent of all the potential empty seats if you do it for Eastern Michigan.
I'm interested. Go ahead.
They should have done the maroon out for this so that the red blends
in,
and then for Iowa do the gold out for Iowa so those idiot Iowa fans, they look like Gopher fans, right?
Yes, that would be a very good idea. I'm very interested to see if the quarterback is really good or not. If the quarterback's really good, they'll be okay. If not, because they have receivers for sure. Until Ottman Bell gets hurt, they're going to be okay. But they have receivers. It'll be interesting to see if PJ actually will throw the ball 30 times a game. That'd be interesting. I'm also interested in if no longer stopping the clock on first downs can reduce the time of game from college football games to 4 hours and 10 minutes, let's say, instead of the usual 4.5. I also, they should have a clock on halftime shows, not halftime shows, halftime TV shows. Now this one's not on the Big Ten Network, so you won't have the half-hour halftime show. But the Big Ten Network's halftime thing, I think they get more viewers for that than they do for their games because the damn thing runs 30 minutes. Driving me crazy.
12 advertising. So wait, I have a dumb question. To back up a step? Dumb football question here. Did I hear you right that we got rid of the stopping the clock after first downs thing?
Yep, first downs, except the last 2 minutes. Except the last 2 minutes of each half. They finally realized that now that baseball has attempted to do something to move along, they figured that the last game in America that doesn't is.
Do you know why they did that? I found out they did that going back to the days when the chain gangs were slow, and so they stopped the clock because the chain gangs couldn't move quick enough, and they never changed the rule.
Well, most of the chain gangs were my age, my current age, and my current build. You always had the fat chain guy, and then he'd get it tangled up in his foot and
it falls over.
Stuff like that. The chain gang is, all these high schools out in the state of Minnesota. They got that, every time one of their chain gang guys dies, what am I going to do now? The guy's been doing the chains for 60 years.
Let's get Ricey down here.
It's all kinds of high school football tonight too. That's the one bad thing about these Gophers, this traditional Thursday night game they're playing. Well, all because of Labor Day weekend, all the high schools, 80% of high schools in Minnesota are playing their games on Thursday night and that Thursday night too, which is unfortunate, I think.
Boys, I'm going to run because I got a press conference to attend to hear about the roster cuts. Okay,
let's go.
Got to throw some fastballs, Pat. Okay. I'll make you proud. Bye.
Yeah. Good. Harass him about something, Judd. What Judd harassed him about? Hawkinson. We still don't know if he's going to play or not.
Well, he harassed Hawkinson directly.
Yeah, I know he did.
By the way, so Pat, Hawkinson's been out. He hasn't practiced in full in a month.
Yes.
August 3rd.
For very suspicious reasons too, right?
Yeah, it was an ear infection and then a lower back and
Yeah, it's they're gonna have to pay him, but I guess they might not be able to, right? They can't have They got they got to have about $75 left in cap money, don't they?
I mean, it all depends. Well, they can finagle it any way they want, but I think they have to figure out, are we allocating, $35 or $40 million to a quarterback? Are we, Justin Jefferson, you kind of know where he's going to come in salary wise, but I think they're trying to figure out some of these other and they also don't have any edge rushers under contract for next year because they're free agents. Yeah. So Darisaw is going to get paid.
Yeah. That tight end though, he was valuable. He was the best thing they did last year.
I think you sign him. I don't.
Yeah. It's the new NFL. Tight ends are worth way more than running backs and some other positions too. We will be curious here at the press conference to find out if they found another offensive lineman. Now, although we talked about it yesterday, that if they sign a veteran, it's going to be after the first game, so they don't have to guarantee the salary. What a great rule that is for the NFL. We got a new one for you, fellas. If we sign you after the first game, you're on a week-to-week paycheck.
Why would the players sort of give at the negotiating table, right? Like, did they just let that one slide through?
They just let them do anything they want to. It's incredible. I don't like the delay, though. Do you? I don't like this this week off. Let's play. Come on.
I agree. I would get rid of the delay between championship week and the Super Bowl too. In fact, I'd play the Super Bowl on a Thursday night right after championship Sunday. I want football now.
Yes, that's let's go here. What do we so what? Labor Day. They don't like to play Labor Day weekend because the TV ratings are down this much. They still have the highest TV ratings in the history of mankind. And play them, but they're going to try to take over February, I guess, right? That's the long-term plan to basically own the month of February. So the Super Bowl will be on Valentine's Day or some damn thing. So
it's genius.
Anyway,
it's genius. So
hey, that was Pat. We didn't talk about it, but that was a bad. We didn't talk about it much, but goes in the bad loss category yesterday.
How many of those bad losses have they had off the top of your head this year? There's been at least 3 or 4 like that. This would be a bad loss, and then it happens.
First half of the year, there were probably 8 or 9, and now there's this one. This one is you just had a bad feeling when they kept not adding, right? Not adding. Cleveland's feisty, man. They're feisty.
They are. They still care too. Like you can tell when they win that game, they're fired up. Like they're still in it. And Francona's. They're not. You're gonna have to keep them at 5 games length, or they might get feisty with you.
My Cody Funderburk column didn't have much shelf life either, did it?
You snuck it in under the wire though.
Yes, I did. All right.
All right. We'll talk to you again tomorrow,
Have a good
Pat.
football game tonight, fellas. Who's going tailgating? Anybody? Judd.
The Babu tailgate starts, I think, at 2:00 today. So probably not going to make it for the opening bell, but I will be in attendance at some point.
All right. See you later.
All right. Roll the boat. Sky Yama. Go Gophers.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Speaking of lower back pain, by the way, a shout out to our friends over at Summit Orthopedics. So Summit Orthopedics is great because whatever you're dealing with, you don't even have to make, or you don't even need a referral. You can make your own appointment. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is they offer walk-in orthopedic urgent care 7 days a week, starting at 8 a.m. And point number 3, 25 locations across the Twin Cities and Greater Minnesota. Learn more at summitortho.com. That is summitortho.com.